Jalen Ramsey or someone like that.
I'd make that
I don't know
deal.
if I'd want Ramsey, but he's been kind of a mess this year. But
I know the Jags are trying to trade Leonard Fournette. I mean, you trade.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Fournette and Jalen Ramsey
for Bell and a pick or something. I mean, but not Bell.
Brown, yeah.
Bell and Brown. We'll sign Bell, trade him and Brown for Ramsey and Fournette.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm not sure how the trades work, but to me at this point, it needs to happen. I think Tomlin is done with him too. I think it's like you said, Coach. I think they've reached a point where they can't do it. They can't take it anymore. They can't cover for him.
It seems to me like they might be it's off season now. There's no necessarily super rush. They might let them have like a week to cool off and see what happens, maybe, and see if there's any kind of.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's possible.
Will it cool off?
No return in the media.
Will it cool off or will it heat up? Is my question.
That's the thing. It's been a few days.
That's
already.
What's going to happen next? Here we are. This is the first full day. This is kind of like, the game was Sunday. That was the 30th. Monday was New Year's Eve. Everybody was, it's basically a holiday. Tuesday was New Year's Day. That's basically a holiday. This is the first real day that we got news, and all we heard was, basically about the fight and stuff like that. So this is, where do we go from here? I
mean, the dude's in a mask singing songs on a reality show on the first day. I mean, I honestly don't know where we do go from here.
I think where we go from here is that James Harrison quote-unquote interview. He's going to give an interview somewhere, and
he'll be talking to somebody.
He is going to say the craziest things. And
he's
it's
either going to reel it back in, and you'll know if he wants to actually try and stay, or he's going to just go off the deep end. There's no in between, I don't think.
It has a potential to get super ugly. Super ugly. I mean, you don't show up to work. You don't show up to a game. And I heard Cam Hayward this morning. He basically said that's unacceptable. It's like,
he did.
We're supposed to be in this together. And another thing I heard is him not playing really screwed them up that first half.
Oh, because they had probably stuff in place up until he didn't show up almost Friday.
Has Colbert not commented on this?
He never comments.
This is unbelievable. I know.
What about Rooney?
But this is one of those situations where Colbert or Rooney has to publicly say something.
Rooney has to step in at some point. And he needs to establish order.
I said before, he's too smug. He's so far removed from any day-to-day football operation outside of counting the the royalty checks or counting the profits. That's the only thing he's involved in.
I think at this point, with the severity of this one, they may just be waiting to see what action to take so they can, decide what they're going to say when they say something. Like, I don't know. I
heard something about possibly voiding a contract or something like that. But if you void a contract, okay, yeah, you might be done with his contract. You might not pay him, but you also might have him end up in, I don't know, Tom Brady's teammate.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no AFC team, at the very least, no division team or the Patriots to trade to. Trade them to Oakland, trade them to Arizona.
I think there's some NFC teams with cap room and the assets to go get them, like the Packers, the Buccaneers, teams like that. I think you don't have to worry. I mean,
I saw one of the Jets was recruiting him also on Twitter or whatever.
I think everybody. I think everybody will be doing that. I saw the Browns posting pictures.
How do you think he would do with another team? Do you think he would be super motivated to prove everybody wrong, or do you think he's really nothing without Ben?
So, I mean, ball don't lie, as the kids say. I mean, look at the numbers that he has with Landry Jones as opposed to Ben Roethlisberger, or Mike Vick as opposed to Ben Roethlisberger.
Well,
and then look at
he's
like
nothing.
DeAndre Hopkins and all these other guys with bad quarterbacks or below average quarterbacks.
That's so true.
well, I'd say Michael Vick and Landry Jones are a far cry from most of the starters.
But
in the
still-
Well, I
NFL.
mean, look at DeAndre Hopkins, or like when AJ Green had to, play with AJ McCarron, or he
Yeah,
still went out there and.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I don't know how much of it is changing a game plan because of it. Maybe they ran more of those games. I'd have to look at that kind of thing because
Who knows?
the
But
Steelers always had Bell. I think he'll be productive. Will be as good as here? Probably not, but I think he'll still be a pretty good player.
Agreed. No, I agree.
Like he'll probably be around the 1,000-yard to 1,200 mark. He may not have like
I
1,500,
wonder if
1,600 yards or anything.
this is the start of basically he'll be on one team 1 year, maybe he'll spend 1 or 2 years at like with like 3 or 4 teams, basically be Terrell Owens part 2.
It's possible. Or Plexico kind of did that. He went that for a few teams, Giants, and kind of bounced around a little bit after the Giants.
Did he win a Super? I think he did win a Super Bowl with the Giants, though.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he wasn't a Super Bowl winner, but just some of those guys end up, Brandon Marshall, a couple of those guys end up bouncing around from team to team because
Losing players, man. You'll never. They great talent, might be Hall of Famers, but no team will ever win anything with them in their clubhouse or locker room. Losing players, man.
I think it's safe to conclude that the Steelers' philosophy of basically being top heavy, of putting all your eggs in one basket. You have you're paying $27 million to Ben. You're paying $16 to $20 million to Antonio Brown. You are paying $15 million or $12 million to Le'Veon Bell. You put all your money in those 3 people, and it just didn't work. They're too top heavy. It just didn't work. Either one of them got hurt or one of them got crazy or whatever, but I think that philosophy was a failure. And it seems like it's better to spread the money out to have depth.
Well, I think
And
they assumed they were going to – I just think they assumed, like we all did, that they were going to win at least one.
well, yeah.
Or at least get there. I mean, with those 3 guys, with Bell, Brown, and Roethlisberger. But they didn't, and now, like you said, time to move on. Like, it's just going to be the same thing and the same thing every year.
I mean, there's plenty of blame and plenty of very varying reasons on why they didn't get from year to year, why they didn't win in the playoffs or anything. But yeah, I mean, it definitely hasn't panned out. I guess we'll see what happens, whether they increase this trade talk or hear any more rumors of actually trying to deal him or not.
Imagine if the Browns beat the Ravens
And we lost. Yeah.
and the Steelers made
lost.
the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
And
no one's saying anything about
no
it
one's saying anything about this
necessarily.
It would be a bigger circus because then the Steelers would be preparing for a playoff game and not knowing whether that Brown would show up or not. It's I don't know. Them missing the playoffs might have been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it's kind of like when they say Tomlin hasn't had an under 500 team, which is great, but you're missing out on a top 15 pick. I mean, that's how they got Ben. They traded up. That's how they got Troy. Sometimes, those seasons where you kind of don't do as well are sort of blessings for the future.
It's like I always say, like in the NFL, you got to be bad for a little bit to be good again.
Yeah.
Or bad.
Or you're kind of stuck in limbo like the Steelers have been. They're kind of stuck in good enough to make the playoffs, but maybe not missing that guy that'll help them get to Super Bowl again. I mean, I thought they may have had him in Shazier. That was unfortunate what happened with him. But
I think they just their problem was they never went out and did anything legitimate in free agency or via trade to get over the hump. They never said to themselves, like,
they never went all in.
Windows closing on these guys, especially with Ben. Like, we got to do something now. Like the Penguins.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say with them. But
what would have helped? Khalil Mack. That's what would have put them over over the top.
I know you were pushing that hard.
I wanted that so bad.
Any impact play, like I agree on that, but like
Peterson, Patrick Peterson, at the trade deadline, they were talking about him. Yep. But oh God, no, we can't give away one of our precious draft picks. Yeah, we don't want the next Artie Burns or Bud Dupree.
Or a Jarvis Jones or a Rashard Mendenhall. I mean, you don't want to miss your opportunity to get a guy.
On an unknown. You don't know. Just because you're a first-round pick doesn't mean you're going to pan out. I mean, there's a lot of people give the Steelers crap, but there's a lot of first-round picks that fail. Yeah. Like all around the NFL, not every pick is a star. It's crazy. But with the Steelers, I mean, it's not like they've tried. I mean, I don't think they haven't not tried. You know what I mean? Like
this team is going to look very different come September for many reasons. I think Munchak is gone. I will drive Keith Butler to the airport. Get out of here, you schmuck. Joey Porter, get out of here. Who's the special teams go? Danny Smith, take your bubble gum and get out of my city.
What about Marvin Lewis?
I would love if you had Marvin Lewis or Greg Williams as a defensive coordinator, or
Greg Williams he's gonna get a head job. Too many openings, too good a job down the stretch with the Browns. And I mean, look, everybody saw him MF and everything on Hard Knocks. People love that stuff.
Yeah, that Hard Knocks. I like the way he talked to him. He was no nonsense. He was telling him to be accountable for a lot of stuff. He sounded like the kind of guy you want leading their defense. You know,
Browns did very well under him. If I was them, I'd keep.
I don't even know why they
the staff they have.
I read that they tweeted. Well, I saw a tweet that said like they have interviewed him for the position as well. So to keep him there,
he did a great job.
I wouldn't even have conducted an interview. I would have rolled with him.
Probably. I don't know what their protocol is and everything because they supposedly have to interview so many people and there's like the Rooney Rule and stuff. So I don't know if that applies to.
From what I understand,
with interims or not, they might have to do their rounds even if they made their decision. I don't know.
From what I understand, you don't want Mike McCarthy because he basically sucks as a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want a bad football coach, I believe.
Yeah. Yes. Oh man, it's gonna get really interesting. I mean, like I was saying earlier today, let us all be thankful. Thank whatever deity there is that we're fans of a team that's interesting and not like, Jacksonville or something like that. I mean, what are they talking about in Jacksonville right now?
Who knows? Jalen Ramsey
to London, I believe.
Yeah. They're having tea and crumpets right now because yeah. Oh man. So anyway, the Pigskin Pick'em, I ended up being the champion.
It's fixed.
Yeah.
You fixed it.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on.
USOB.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. So you're telling me that in the inaugural season of Pigskin Pick'em, the group moderator is actually the one that won it?
I could not, as far as you know, I'm not allowed to edit picks.
Collusion.
This is like some DraftKings type of. This is a DraftKings type of deal where you go in middle of the game when you see the score and you can't. I see. Okay.
I admit nothing, but
I had a lead late in the season.
I beat you by 4, Mark.
Yeah, I had a lead
until late in the season. 17-game lead go to 4?
I don't know. I pulled like a Butler late in the fourth quarter and couldn't hold the lead. I don't know. Keith Butler.
So we got to find some kind of pick'em thing for the playoffs because I want to be accused of cheating again.
Cheating again.
Yet another thing.
I just put in my future bets today.
Oh yeah, for what? Like who's going to win the Super Bowl?